Because it's a time and a place for everything. I'm not gonna say he's right and I'm not gonna say he's wrong. You know, but it's so crazy. When he spoke about it, I could have easily came out and said, yeah, you spoke about it. I ain't have to say nothing.
Well, more fighters that probably were afraid of him are not gonna be afraid of him anymore.
I really don't know. Anything can happen, man, you know, possibility. Possibility. I would love to see a rematch, but it may happen, it may not, you know?
Because everything has its proper time and place. I won't say that he's right or wrong, but it's so absurd that when he talked about it, I could have just said, yeah, you spoke about it, I ain't have to say nothing. More fighters who were presumably terrified of him will no longer be so. I'm not sure, but anything can happen, buddy. You never know what might happen. Although I would really like to see a rematch, you never know.
First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. Why the say Terrence Crawford should fight Benavidez? That don't make no fucking sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
Who's next in line? Just so you're next in line.
Is there like
last question, guys. Is there
like a love-hate for like
yeah,
the fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. And
you're good, man.
And he cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this.
In response to Floyd Mayweather's remarks regarding the Gervonta-Lamont Roach rematch, Tank publicly accused Mayweather of being self-centered and unwilling to acknowledge the accomplishments of other fighters, arguing that Tank did poorly in the first fight and should have avoided the rematch. Davis thinks that Mayweather's hesitation to back the fight is motivated by jealousy and a desire to maintain his notoriety. Floyd, first and foremost, don't want to witness anyone, such as a warrior, surpass him. Thus why they say Terrence Crawford should fight. I'm going to be there. That doesn't make any underscore sense. You don't ever want to see nobody be better than him.
Gervonta said, I'm not signed to a single soul. So is Tank now a free agent, or is he still signed with Mayweather Promotions?
Well, this is the Mayweather Deji press conference. So I'm here to talk about Dubai. I'm here to talk about entertaining the people, having fun. And I'm not here to talk disrespectful or bad about any fighter. You know, they say America is the land of the free. You know, so we live, we love, and we keep striving each and every day. That's what life is about.
I'm telling you, is there like a brother? Last question. Yes, I love a fighter. And I won't lie, if he was just chill, like he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter, and my bad. And, you know, because I don't want to say that he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and occasionally he could be good. But it's always I'm this Gervin. When Davis left Mayweather Promotions, there was a lot of controversy surrounding it. His public arguments and disagreements with Floyd Mayweather around his decision to rescind the promotion brought to light the difficulties in their working relationship, since the two men held divergent opinions about how Davis's career should be handled. The public nature of their disagreement highlighted the power dynamics in boxing promotions.
I commend Tank on saying, hey, this is my career, you had yours. I respect you from buying me a chain, buying me this, buying me that, take me on a jet. All that's great, but at the end of the day, I'm only going by his interview. You seen it and I seen it. Thank you, Floyd Mayweather, for all the things you gave me. If the intentions was you just looking out for me. But I got an opportunity to fight this big fight. And this soap opera between you and Oscar for all these years, I'm not gonna let it affect me. That's my interpretation. And Tank wants to do the fight, but he had to break away from the chains of somebody he still respects and respected then. And he said, man, I gotta do what I gotta do. This is my career.
And the difficulties players confront when choosing between their own autonomy and the assistance of well-known people in the sport. In his own words, I'm not signed to a single soul. Is Tank still under contract with Mayweather Promotions, or is he now a free agent? They say that America is the land of the free. So we live, we love, and we keep trying every day. That's what life is about. This is the Mayweather-Deji press conference. So I'm here to talk about Dubai, as well as entertain the public and have fun. I'm not here to talk disrespectfully or negatively about any fighter, though. Legendary boxer Bernard Hopkins recently shared his thoughts on Gervonta Davis's career. Davis had to escape constraints that were holding him back, which included Floyd Mayweather Promotions.
Because I don't know what the just happened. You're a referee. You should have seen what's going on. Why I would have, if I'm in the corner, I'm erratic in between rounds. What was your feeling in between rounds when you seen that?
It was going off. My assistant coach, Ben Johnson, he was going off on him. Like, hey, Steve, what the wrong with you? He was cursing him out and everything. He was like, that was a knockdown.
Yeah,
he just stood off and waved us off, and he was like,
yeah, because for me, one person would have been having to deal with Lamont, and the other would have been the whole 60
that's how it was. I was dealing with him, and my man Ben was dealing with the rough.
Right.
We got his attention along with the low blows as well. I was like, how many blows you gonna let us hit us with before you take a point? And then he finally warned him like in the 11th round.
That's crazy. Is there anybody in boxing media or media in general, because nobody picked you guys to win at all. Nobody. I mean, I seen you guys go on promotional tours from whether it was boxing podcast to the Breakfast Club. Nobody picked you guys to win. Like, when you get a second, you grab me a water. Sorry. And is there anybody that you got, I know because it's more than one person, but is there anybody, thank you, that you took personal out of all the interviews that you did? Is it one or two people or three people that you be like, this right here, everybody else, but I want to prove this one person wrong?
It's not necessarily that I wanted to prove them wrong, so I wanted everybody to shut the fuck up, for real.
Yeah.
Like, but I already said it.
Power and influence. Hopkins underlined that Davis was unable to reach his full potential by quitting Mayweather Promotions because of the degree of control Mayweather held over his career. Davis was given the opportunity to choose his own fights.
We got to talk about it. So Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already notable. The fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on a decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not won't even matter. Because he's directly in line to go against the Keyshawn Davis, the Shakur Stevensons, and etc., the Devin Haney's, and etc. I can see him moving up and going against a Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else. And that is the hairstylist situation. In my humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing was going to look at them like, I don't want her to braid my hair. No one would have said that. But she hurt herself when she came out and publicly made multiple claims, got all these receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. Nobody even believes it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments. Should she have remained quiet, or should she have did what she did, which is spoke up? You let me know.
Including whether he wanted to face Lamont Roach again. Hopkins thought that Davis would flourish as a fighter because he would be able to make choices based on his own preferences rather than outside influences. I applaud Hank for saying, hey, this is my career. You had yours, I respect you, from buy me a chain, buy me this, buy me that, take me on a jet. Not all of that is fantastic, but ultimately, I'm relying solely on his interview, which you have seen and I have seen. I want to thank Floyd Mayweather for everything you have done for me.
Lamont Roach, first of all, you surprised that everybody's wanting to see a rematch between these two because no one expected it to be a close fight in the first place.
That much is true. And me, myself, I'm a big Tank fan. And I was shocked. At the outcome of the fight.
Who did you have winning the fight?
I have Roach winning the fight.
Do you consider it robbery, or do you lean Roach and are cool with the draw?
I wouldn't say it was a robbery. The fight was close. But if I was a judge, I would have gave Roach the fight.
All right. Talking about this rematch, what do you? I mean, so the one thing Tank always had for him, everyone, he had that kind of almost like Mike Tyson-esque, right? The air of invincibility, the knockout power. People were scared of him, that kind of thing. Do you think what Roach did to him, moving up in weight, and not being a big puncher himself, but able to withstand Tank, that kind of his air of invincibility has maybe been slightly diminished?
I won't say it's been diminished, but I do think that more people, more fighters that probably were afraid of him are not going to be afraid of him anymore.
And do you think that's almost something that can play in Tank's hand, right? Maybe we had an off day, everybody has an off day, and take him.
Yeah, everybody can have off night, but I think the one thing that is the most important thing that nobody's talking about is the fact that
even if it was just to protect me. However, I have a chance to fight this big fight and this soap opera between you and Oscar for all these years, and I won't let it affect me. Tank wants to fight, but he had to break free from the bonds of someone he still respects.
The good rumor is that Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach are going to be rematching possibly June 21st in Las Vegas. I don't know if Vegas just wanted to fight off the publicity, especially with Turkey taking a lot of fights over to Riyadh, or they didn't want to return back to New York State Athletic Commission after they did Lamont Roach dirty. But Lamont said the terms were already agreed on for a rematch. He just had to sign it, so it seemed like, it's going to be this Vegas summer blockbuster. It's probably going to be the biggest fight of the year as far as in the United States. So it'll be interesting. Nevada State Athletic Commission don't play, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know what y'all.
And he said, man, I got to do what I got to do. This is my career. The first bout between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach was controversial, especially because of the officiating referee Steve Willis, who came under heavy fire for failing to give Roach points